Susan Cingari here with CEO Lion Fight President Scott Kent, who joins me all the way from Las Vegas. And Scott, you've got an action-packed show coming up July 28th at Lion Fight 37. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Susan, it's exciting. We're going to have two title fights. We're going to have the legendary Petchtanong Banchamek from Thailand, over 400 fights. Wow. He's going to be fighting American superstar Joe Nattawut for that title. That's really got the attention of our international crowd. And then we have two of the rising American stars, Paul Banasiak and Chip Pollard, both of which reside in the East Coast. You know, when we started Lion Fight, we wanted to bring in the great international stars, but we really wanted to focus on building our American talent and giving them an opportunity to fight on the television stage. And this co-main event with Chip and Paul certainly fulfills that obligation.
I want to stay with that line of thinking, so to speak, because I've interviewed both Chip and Paul. I think they're both great fighters. And if somebody were to say to me, how do they think this fight's going to go down? I'd be like, 50-50, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's interesting. They both beat Brett Lavacek. Right. You know, Chip's a different style of fighter. He's very methodical. He's a great counter puncher, great counter fighter. Banasiak's a little more off the top, but he's good for the sport. You know, he's a personality. He'll come out in the mask, and a lot of people didn't think he could beat Brett Lavacek, and he did. So I think having both of those guys, it's a real interesting matchup, and I have no idea who's going to win that fight.
You know, you were also just speaking a few minutes ago about Smokin Joe. He's no stranger to title fights, but this Muay Thai superstar, he's got, what, you said 345 or 400 wins? Is that crazy or what?
Yeah, he's got 345 wins. He's had over 400 fights. And I tell people that, and they're just stunned. And they don't understand the Thai culture, how the fighters start when they're very young. And it's, you know, 400 is a lot, even by Thai standards. But it shows you how accomplished this guy is. Former WBC, WMC world champion. The fact that we're bringing the top fighters in the planet to fight on Lion Fight, again, shows how far we've come as a company.
Agreed. You've also got a very interesting fighter. Let's talk about him. He trained with Holly Holm and John Dodson. Yeah,
this entire undercard is absolutely stacked. You know, starting, we just did a press release about the first fight coming out, which is going to be Jafar Toshev, who's fought for us before. Came out of nowhere and stole the show. So we're going to kick that fight off. That's going to be the first fight. And then from then on, everybody, you know, they've all got interesting training stories, where they started from, the gyms they're fighting of. And you see a lot of these, like this gentleman that trained Holly, bringing all kinds of experiences to the Muay Thai ring. It's very exciting.
Very, very exciting. Any ideas about whether, I know I asked you this last time, I keep on hoping you're going to tell me you're coming down to Florida. Any thoughts about coming down to Florida or maybe even California for some of the shows?
You know, it's funny you said that. I got an email today from my contact in Florida, who has, you know, we're looking at, you know, the Hard Rock there in South Florida, which would be a great venue for us, great exposure for us. We're in preliminary discussions right now with Southern California for the September 15th date. We're hoping to bring back Lerdsila, who fought on our last show, having to fight Sergio Wilson for the title. And after that, we're back at Foxwoods September 29th, where we're going to have, hopefully, we're looking at bringing in Reagan Ursel again to defend his title against Cosmo Alexander, which is a huge rematch for these guys. And another one of those international fights that's going to get everybody's attention.
Speaking of expansion, I also read, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, that I believe Lion Fight's changing their preliminaries a little bit in order to bring up sort of the next generation of fighters. Is that right?
Yeah, Access TV has been a great television partner for us. They don't like to do pro debuts, so what we've tried to do is kind of build a bridge between the amateurs and those guys that are ready to go pro. We're not going to be able to get them on a televised card, but we want to make sure that we can display their skills in Lion Fight. So possibly on the non-televised undercards, we might try and do one or two professional pro debuts.
Speaking of televised cards, so to speak, Bellator, I think it's their second pay-per-view. It's the big one coming up. What are your thoughts? Do you think that Lion Fight might ever consider a pay-per-view?
I think that's probably down the road in the future. Right now, we're trying to build our brand. One of the things that I think is kind of unique to Lion Fight is, we don't want to be a training ground, a building block for another promotion. I see there's a lot of MMA promotions, and, they're happy as clams when the fighters get to Bellator and UFC. That's never been our business plan. We want Muay Thai fighters. We want to build those guys. Our sport is growing at leaps and bounds. And I think that day at some point in the too distant future is certainly something that we'd like to work towards.
All right, now I'm going to ask you the $1 million question. What about if Conor McGregor said to you, he wants to come over and just do Muay Thai? What would you say?
It's interesting. I've had this question, and people are like, who would win in a fight between Yadson Klein and Conor McGregor? And, everybody wants my predictions on this Mayweather fight. Conor McGregor would get beat in a Muay Thai fight by a very accomplished Muay Thai fighter. And no disrespect to Conor. I think the same thing would happen with a really well-versed Muay Thai fighter going into MMA. We had Chris Cyborg fight for us, the baddest woman on the planet then, the baddest woman on the planet now. And she got beat by a technical Muay Thai fighter out of Holland who no one had heard of. So I think that just shows the specialty, the quality of the specialty of the fighter. And MMA, you have to have all these tools. In Muay Thai, you better have good striking, you better know about the elbows, and you better know about the knees, because it's a whole nother level.
It's a very exciting sport, though. I think more people need to tune in because it really is fast action. I know a lot of times in some of the MMA fights, when the guys are on the ground grinding and pounding, or they're in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the fans get a little upset because they don't understand how much effort is being put into the fight at that point with somebody laying and praying on you on top of it. I think more people need to tune into it. I think it's a great sport. I applaud you for it. And before we go today, I just want to ask you if there's anything else you want to add.
I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank you for always supporting us. I think you're one of the people that have believed in us for a long time, and I agree. It's a rich cultural sport. It's something that's very fan friendly. You don't hear the booing that you hear at a lot of these fights in MMA where the fighters go to the ground. And ultimately, you're looking at expanding your audience with an exciting fighting style. And I think Lion Fight, with its growth, really exemplifies that. Now people all over the world want to come fight for Lion Fight in the U.S. And we've had great partners like Foxwoods, Pechanga, a lot of the venues and venues. So that's our business plan. Things are growing like crazy. So thank you for all of your support.
Thank you, Scott. Before we go today, listen up here, Muay Thai fans and MMA fans. You can find out more about Lion Fights at their website at www.lionfight.com. Don't forget to check them out on Twitter at Lion Fight, on Facebook, Lion Fight Muay Thai, and on Instagram, Lion Fight Official. As a reminder, Lion Fight 37 takes place on July 28th at the Foxwoods Resort Casino and airs live on Access TV Fights and Fight Network. And listen up here, Muay Thai fans. If you'd like to get a ticket for this event, they're on sale now at foxwoods.com, Lion-Fight. Or you can give the box office a call, 800-200-2882. Scott, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me, and we look forward to interviewing you here again at Must Love MMA.
Oh, thank you very much, Susan. Have a great day. Okay.